I'm Julianne. I'm live at Cannes with Ravi, SVP of Zillow Group. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So before we get started, I'm going to ask you a few questions. And I want to start with a little icebreaker. One word your team would use to describe you?
Analytical.
Analytical. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I came from an analytics company,
Yeah.
so
So
why?
because essentially whenever they present an idea or story, I invariably go to the insight that is informing that discussion or idea. And the reason being, you just don't want to essentially go straight to the data, but what's the insight that's powering that idea?
Mm,
Because if you're solving a real customer problem, if you're solving a real pain point, then it actually works well. And so I analyze it from that direction. So when they come to me, they're usually prepared with the insights, the data points, why that idea will work, and then we go
okay, I love
talk
that.
about the creative.
Yeah, data-backed marketing, right?
Yeah.
Last thing that you watched that made you think differently?
Oh wow! I met Paul Nicklin, who is a phenomenal photographer and a storyteller at an event, and I've since been following their Instagram channel, and he posts these amazing stories of conservation, how he takes photos to tell stories, and what I have realized is the power of storytelling is so profound. All it takes is one image, and he puts the image on the screen and describes what the story is about. It's as if you're watching a movie. So the power of storytelling, irrespective of what medium you're using, is going to be so important.
Oh, that's so special. I love storytelling and just the art of it and
Yeah.
getting inspiration from all different things
Sure.
in the world. Okay. All right. So that brings me to my next question or theme with partnerships. Zillow recently won the D and AD pencil for Warcraft. And when I saw it, I was so inspired and I was so excited to talk to you about it.
Sure.
Can you tell me what brought you to that and how you got into that
Yeah.
ad?
So partnerships is something that we take very, very seriously in determining who we want to partner with, why we want to partner with them, and what stories we want to go tell. And in that realm, we've had several successful partnerships, predominantly with Fantastic Four was one. Devil Wears Prada, we just did an awesome partnership with Disney on that one. And then World of Warcraft was, to your point, one. It's hard to win D&AD pencils, and we were like, whoa, this is so awesome. So we celebrated that one. The way we choose partnerships, it goes back to the why. And if you think about our brand ethos, we want to make home a reality for more and more people.
Mhm.
And so when we look at these partnerships, we look for those common ethos. And in the case of World of Warcraft, people would be like, World of Warcraft, home, like how do they actually come together? Turns out there is a whole community of World of Warcraft,
Yep.
as you know very well. That community, the number one most sought after feature was a home.
Oh.
And when our agency, 7210 Sunny, brought that insight, because they were also the agency for Activision, we were like, oh, wait a minute. Our brand purposes are matching with what the consumers are asking. Let's actually go build that feature within that. But then we just didn't go and build a feature. We actually told a story around it. The story was around the characters that are in there, making it fun, gamifying the whole equation. We created a microsite, we created a web page, we created a whole experience around it. And turns out our Reddit discussion, that was one of the highest organic Reddit discussion that we've had this year. Obviously, we didn't spend any money promoting any of that. It was just coming from pure organic consumer love and obsession with it. So it was great for our brand. It was great, obviously, for World of Warcraft, and it created a global. Even though Zillow is a very North America centric brand,
Yeah.
it created a global conversation. So it was just a great outcome for everybody.
Wow, I love that. And I also love the organic Reddit because
Sure.
that's where everybody is right now. You know, like you could put a lot of things, a lot of places, but people want to hear from others. And that's such a great forum for it. Okay, so my next one kind of is in the realm of testing,
Sure.
testing as a creative permission.
Yeah.
You run hundreds of thousands of tests a year. Can you tell me what really differentiates with your testing versus, just testing for the sake of it?
Yeah, we obviously testing is very, very important so that you understand what is resonating with the consumers and why a particular medium works well with one message versus not. For example, the same content that you develop might work very well in a YouTube setting, but might not work well in an Instagram setting.
Yep.
So you have to be very purposeful in figuring out why you develop something. So testing is very, very important part of the process. However, what I have also noticed is teams do testing for the sake of testing to make sure that they are not doing a mistake, and they can always, if that campaign doesn't work or that particular asset doesn't perform, they can come and say, but I tested this in those situations, it worked very well, therefore we went ahead. It's almost like an insurance policy. And I think that's the wrong use case for testing. In the case of World of Warcraft that we just talked about, if we were testing our way in, we would be late to market. We would have missed that moment. We wouldn't be as authentic. Instead, the teams had the flexibility to believe in themselves in the gut and then move forward. And then we still learn. There are some pieces that work. There are some that didn't work, and you take it to the next one. So we are very intentional about what we test, why we test, and how we leverage it to build what I call as a set of golden rules that become the essential part of how you operate going forward. That way you're not relearning the same thing that you already know works.
Yeah, that goes right back to your analytical background, right? Full circle. So I have to throw in a AI question.
Sure.
Where AI is really earning its place. Where is it earning its place in your marketing program right now? And then not really where it is, but where it will be.
Yeah, AI is very interesting. It's kind of overused word at this point. Like everything, is kind of banded into the AI bandwagon. I am a huge proponent of leveraging the advances that this technology has brought to how we do our day-to-day work and how we operate as a team and what kind of stories we tell. The number one use case that I'm very excited about from an AI standpoint is how it accelerates our understanding of the consumer. And the example I use is we have 250 million unique users, depending upon whatever month it is seasonally. But there are only 5 million home transactions in a good year. This year, I think we are going to have about 4 million. So you can think about the drop off from 250 million to 4 or 5 million.
Yeah.
You as a brand have to have the ability to take that audience and be able to identify when that behavior changes. So I suddenly went from a dreamer to a buyer. So how do I identify that? Usually you identify that by seeing subtle changes in their activity on our surfaces, app or desktop or mobile. And those behaviors can sometimes look like, oh, somebody's just starting to look for schools. Oh, so you may be serious about this area. They may be looking at nearby restaurants, commute distance to their nearest train station or to the downtown. And that indicates seriousness of a particular area that they're interested in. The moment that happens, in the past, a predictive model would run through all of those data points, build a signal, and create a score. And that used to take about a month, I think. Now it's all in real time, right? So the power of AI in understanding consumer behavior and being able to then differentiate those experiences, I think is phenomenal. So that I think is going to continue to advance and be able to serve different content for different consumers. The thing that I am a little skeptical about is I don't think it will be as simple as push a button and everything is automated.
Yeah.
I think people, human imagination, and how you use those to build trust will be really up to the people and the humans working on that, either product or brand. That is going to be the differentiating factor, not the AI. And somehow I think that we are kind of overestimating that AI will magically create trusted brand experiences. It won't. It will be the people who will do that.
Oh, I completely agree with you. It's the whole reason, I got into marketing, and I'm curious actually how you got in before we end this,
Sure.
because it's
Yeah.
the understanding of why humans and how they think and where they're going to go and to buy, right? And it used to be like this, this journey that you were kind of trying to understand. And I truly do believe the human on the loop, or the human part of that conversation, is where the
Absolutely.
magic happens.
Absolutely. And brands that get that right
Yeah.
will be the ones that will be trusted and therefore will thrive in this new world.
Okay. So I guess last question for you is, how did you get into marketing?
Yeah, fascinating. So when I was growing up in India, it was a mass market, and I saw brands build trust with amazing storytelling.
Okay.
And I was just fascinated by it. But my background is traditionally quantitative. So I have a computer science degree with specialization in operations research, which is optimization.
Yep.
So I started off my career in risk management and building predictive models in financial services. But in that job, I was asked to actually build a cross-sell marketing strategy using data. And I was just fascinated with how much more freedom I have versus building a risk model, which is very highly regulated environment. I felt like, wow, freedom to bring my creativity using data into the equation. So that spurred my marketing journey. And it was also the time when data was becoming more and more important, and folks with creative thinking were always the ones who were in the marketing rooms.
Yeah.
But this was also the time when data was becoming more and more important. So I was invited to forums and rooms that otherwise would not have been open for someone with a quantitative background. But I made good use of that time to not only learn the data part, but also how you activate, how you tell great stories, how you work with the creative ecosystem and build brands.
Yeah.
And that spurred my journey going from marketing strategy to marketing technology to media to eventually brands, and then my current role overseeing a variety of beloved brands that are both on the B2C side and B2B side.
Awesome. I love hearing that. So thank you, Ravi, for joining us today. And that's all.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.